Hi family, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Mrs. Church. But first, I want to appreciate every single person who has subscribed to my YouTube channel, and I'm glad to say that we have made it to 600 subscribers. Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm really grateful for this. It's been a worthwhile journey. So that's a yes for us. That's a yes for us. We are getting somewhere. Now, getting onto this, a lot of questions have been coming into my inbox concerning what I actually do. And I thought it wise, why not share to every single person what I actually do? Now, professionally, I am a professional makeup artist, certified at that, okay? And I am also a skincare specialist, all right? So what else do? I am an events planner as well, but coming back to the makeup and the skincare, I do sell UK skincare products and also offer skincare consultations to clients. So if you are having skin-related issues, this is the plug. All right, this is the plug for you to actually be in. And then secondly, when it comes to events planning, makeup and events planning, yes, I'm also in there. I have been a makeup artist since 2020. All right, professional makeup artist. All right, being the certified makeup artist, that is since 2020. But way before 2020, that was more of, freelancing, you're self-taught and all of that. So I hope you're happy with that. And I hope you now know what Mrs. Trot actually does for a living. Now, as we all know, I have been in an interracial marriage since 2019. And today, I'm really here to share with you something very personal, like super personal, if I may say. I believe love conquers all. And personally, I am a living testimony. Yes, I am a living testimony. Now, back to 2019. I hope you all are with me. Back to 2019. 2019 is when I met my husband, and 2019 is also the same year that actually we did our traditional marriage. If you have watched some of the videos that I have posted before, you'll get to see my story back then. I did not have a traditional marriage the same way that people do it many oftentimes, in the sense that you make a function, etc. My traditional marriage included my dad, my mom, the siblings who were actually available at that point, because things were happening so fast. All right. And I thank God, yes, the agreement was within the family. I think that there was an uncle who actually came to represent, and I want to just appreciate my dad for doing the needful. And I remember at that point, my pastor was like, my pastor called my dad and told my dad, my daughter and son are coming to see you, so welcome them. That is how my traditional marriage actually happened. We traveled to Lira from Kampala early in the morning. Around 11 midday, we had already reached Aboke, and they welcomed us. Bride price was paid. And in the evening, we turned back to Kampala. So as I said in my previous video, we started living as husband and wife. We did not know much about each other, and we started learning each other in marriage. Now back to my entire story right now. Looking at the fact that I did not have a traditional marriage. Tradition comes with so many things at the end of the day. There are so many things attached to tradition. Let's be frank about it. so many things. Now I got to realize that eventually my dad did not take there's that money you're supposed to take to the elders, and they do stuff here, do stuff there, which he didn't. So he literally used the money by himself. Keep that point, because we are going to come back to it. Keep that point, because we are going to come back to it. So 2019 was still the year that we were supposed to have our wedding, but unfortunately things did not work out in our favor. A lot was going on along the way. So eventually, as time went on, we canceled the first wedding in 2019, which was devastating. Imagine like informing every single person that you're having a wedding and it doesn't happen. How does it feel? Terrible, right? Yes, terrible. Now, secondly, COVID came in afterwards. So imagine a young marriage, you have COVID coming in for about 2 years, which was really tough. You getting to hold on to someone for those 2 years. But thank God I got to realize that actually these were battles that I was meant to face, and I didn't know why all these battles. I didn't know. Imagine, just imagine if I wasn't a prayerful person and a spiritually sound person, where would I be at that point? Where would I be? Just a quick one. I come from a family that there's a lot of witchcraft in my family. Okay, like the lineage, there has been a lot of witchcraft, and of course there are so many family curses that have been lying. Yeah, a lot of family curses. And marriage was one of them. People in my family didn't marry. People would have children out of wedlock, probably live out of, you cohabit, have kids, but there was nothing as marriage, proper marriage in my family. And then to make matters worse, I'm married to a British man. His faith belief is very different from mine. You getting that? And then there was a time I actually had a conversation with my husband, and I told him, look, in Africa, you don't ignore spiritual things. The reason why we pray the way we pray is because the demons in Africa are not easy demons to handle. So you must be aggressive in your prayers. And that came as a result of me having a certain kind of prayer life. So he asked me, I remember he asked me and he told me, why do you pray like this? Why do you constantly keep moving from, one corner to the other? You have particular times to pray. He didn't really understand that, because he said he does not actually believe in curses or evil spirits. And I'm like, I think the demons in Europe are friendly demons. You cannot bring this here to Africa. You just can't. Like, I believe some of you will agree with me when it comes to this. And where I come from, there has been a lot of, as I said, witchcraft in the lineage. And then to make matters worse, like, so many things have been tied up, and the only way out is prayer. I'm sorry, but the only way out is prayer. So literally, my family has had a solid and long-term generational curse channeled towards marriage, that people don't get married. And I'm here to say that, first of all, I was the first person to properly get married. That is from where I come from my dad's lineage, to properly get married, do the traditional marriage, and then the official marriage. Like, everything was done well, the way it's meant to be done before settling in marriage. And I want to say, first of all, thank you to my dad for not taking that money, to the elders, to the traditional people. Thank you for eating that money, because I'm sure that was something that probably was meant to tie me down. The rituals they do, I got saved out of it. Now, to give you just a brief challenges that I faced now before the wedding. Remember, that was even now the traditional one. Yes, those battles were there. So before my wedding came in, I had now, COVID had passed and we were setting ourselves together. So personally, I was saving money and he was saving money as well. Still, battles of your father's house, not wanting you to finalize with your marriage. Okay? Battles of your father's house, not wanting you to finalize with your marriage. So that was in 2022, around January in 2022. I had saved a good amount of money. Life was moving on well. Yeah, as things were in place, because I was fully prepared for the wedding, actually, just for my baby sister to fall sick. She became sick and I was called that my baby sister is having diabetes, to a point that she went into what they call a diabetic coma. Now, the only person they're relying on is actually me. You get, breadwinner of the family. Yeah, she's the one who is having all the money. She's the one who is with a white man. So literally everything was falling back on me. When I received that phone call that my baby sister is in a diabetic coma, but remember, we don't have funny diseases in our family. Where is diabetes coming from at that point in time? And then the first person being called is actually me. Doctors want this amount of money. I remember picking money. I had no money to these expenses, that the medical expense, abrupt expenses that were coming, and that wasn't in plan. Life is involved. I had no money for this particular thing. However, I did have money for the wedding. I had no choice but to pick the money for the wedding to save my baby sister's life. That was the first attack that I was fully aware of towards my wedding, and I knew this battle is actually coming from home. I was so aware, and I'm like, the devil, you're a liar. As time went on, medicine, the child is in ICU. Oh God. I looked at the child and I was like, Lord, I know when the enemy cannot access you, when the devil can no longer access you, he gets access to someone who is close to you that can actually, get to you. That is what usually happens. When you get to a stage in your prayer life that the enemy can no longer attack you, it attacks your loved ones. So you too are affected. And that is what happened. I had about 8 million on my account, saved aside for the wedding. And the wedding was supposed to happen in July. So with that happening, within a week, I had spent all the money on my baby sister, and I was back to zero with the wedding money. Remember, we've already talked to service providers, everyone is on board. You're hoping to clear up every single person and just, wait for your wedding. All of that. Oh my one. Life just went back in seconds. I had to start afresh. That is how hard. As you know, I'm a prayerful person, no doubt. God chooses his soldiers the right way. So there is no way I would let this go. Initially, I was thinking, why don't I just cancel this wedding? And I'm like, for the glory of God, this marriage must happen. I started resaving again. Now, in the course of resaving again, things went on well. Yes, it was really tight and the pressure was getting wiser. The pressure was on, but yes, I still stood firm that God, we've got this and you're going to see us through. They talk about, service providers being there. I won't say much about this, but one of the service providers who was actually supposed to work on the outfits, my wedding outfits for the bridesmaids and all of that, also messed us up. And like last minute, things were just in a mess. I ordered for something and something else was delivered, and you just wouldn't show that on your wedding day. Well, I let that go because I was already going through a lot of stuff. But right now, I think I would say, as a service provider, I feel I need to do better for every single person out there who is actually getting into marriage, because I know what it means. And that is one thing that pushed me into planning an event for people. That is one of the reasons why I said, you know what, Imi, you can do this and you can do it for people and you can make them smile on their day. Now, aside from that, my husband is supposed to come, we are all prepared. Hey, blows again. More blows. Hubby falls sick to a point that he wouldn't even make a move. And this was, he was meant to arrive, let's say like today, and then the next day was the wedding. So he falls sick a week before him having his flight. And he was like, Imi, I think we are going to have to cancel this wedding. And I'm like, the devil is a liar. We are not canceling this wedding. Ooh. You needed to see how I went back to my altar, and I was like, God, it's getting to the final stages of it. Like, I've seen a lot already. Like, there has been just so much that has already gone into this, so much prayer, so much battles that we've crossed, and it just can't be this. He was like, I think we are canceling this wedding and let's reschedule it. And I'm like, you know what? You're going to go to that airport. You're going to get to that car. You're going to go to the airport. If you fail to walk, you'll know that my God failed me. They drove him to the airport. I don't know where strength came from. And he traveled. And my God did not fail me. Now that tells you the power of faith. It tells you what faith can actually do, because he was really down. And I had no one else to run to but the God that I serve. A lot of things did happen. Yes, he arrived. He was telling me when he reached Qatar how it started raining thunder and lightning, that the planes would not actually take off. Battles. Are you getting? But we thank God that he reached here, and he reached here sick still, not feeling so okay. I went and picked them from the airport. I looked at my husband and I was like, God, this is how you're ushering me officially into this marriage. This is it. So he arrived, we go to the Airbnb that we are living in, and of course he came with his daughter, someone to represent him. So he was really tired. I unpacked stuff and all of that. There was a letter that we were supposed to present to court. There were rings, so I put everything aside and all of that. I'm telling you, there are people who actually say, I don't believe in spiritual things. I will tell you, up to today, I still question how my rings disappeared and how that letter disappeared from the bedroom that we were sleeping in up to today. When we woke up in the morning, because it is me who unpacked these things, put it on the table there, and in the morning you wake up, there is nothing. Where are you going to start from? Now, this tells you how certain battles are really strong, and how the enemy, if you are the center, the enemy will not actually want anything good to come out of. Yeah. So if you're out there and you have a sluggish spiritual life, this is something to remind you that, hey, wake up. Wake up. Spiritual things are real. My matron in the morning came. When everything wasn't there, we called our lawyer and we're like, the letters are not there. There's that letter of the letter of single status that is expected of a foreigner to have while going to court. That is the letter that wasn't there. So the lawyer was like, you have to reach court early enough so that we can figure out what to do. My heart had dropped. I was like, God, if this is not happening, I'm gonna walk out of this. And I'll keep praising and worshiping you even amidst this loss. Because now that was the last minute, the wedding day. You wake up, ring is not there. It was my engagement ring that I actually used for my wedding. Yeah. And then for hubby, the best man had to run down in town and picked a ring, which ring didn't even fit him, and he was wearing the ring here. My God. So those are the scenarios that happened. Now, when we reached court, it was a whole different battle. Our lawyers go to the lady who was actually supposed to, usher us in marriage. And she was like, there was no way she is going to carry on with the process if that letter wasn't there. While she was, saying all of these things, she was bitter about it. I think we were the second people. She was very, very bitter. And she was like, there is no single way I'm going to continue with this ceremony if this letter is not there. I don't know what you're going to do, my dear. You need to see what you just needed to see what my lawyer was going through. I sat there. My head was down. I was like, God, take control. Meanwhile, there were some Ethiopians who were also facing the same thing next to us. However, for them, the man's visa had expired. So they had told him to go and renew it. And the lady was so clear in front of us, I am not going to do your wedding. This one was to the Ethiopians. Go and fix your visa and then come back. While our lawyer is battling with ours. She came and looked at us and she's like, I will continue with this wedding, but you're not going to take the marriage certificate until you bring this. That's how God prevailed and the ceremony went. The certificate stayed at URSB, and then we got it the next time when my husband went back to the UK and brought in a new fresh letter of single status. That is how my wedding went. I'm literally the first person who has gotten married in my family the right way. And then secondly, my marriage opened many more marriages after that. So there are battles. There are battles among battles. This was a complete generational curse that was broken from my father's house, and I fought it. I really fought it. With the help of God, know how to pray. Know how to pray. Know how to approach God. It feels good to be relieved from this whole curse that my family has been under. I will say a lot has changed in my family ever since after my marriage. Yeah, a lot has changed. Marriages are happening left and right. You get my brothers coming up and saying, "Oh, I'm getting married." You like, ooh. I don't know if someone out there is going through something that I went through. This could be something that someone is experiencing or someone has experienced before as well. I just need to know that these battles are real. You either rely on God for help or you have your own other channels of help. But the one I'm talking to you about right now is the godly kind of help that I did seek. And at the end of the day, we came out victorious. Let me share something small here. That's in the book of Ephesians. Yeah, it's in the book of Ephesians 6:2. Let me check it. That's Ephesians 6 or 6:12. The Bible tells us, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil days, and having done all that, to stand." What does it say? We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Curses that have been done years back when I wasn't even born. I found myself battling with it, spiritually disconnecting myself from things like this. So, this is my story. I hope it saves someone out there.